Well, hello, everybody. This is another edition, a special edition of E2C Network Live, where we get on here and we talk about the latest news in the Auburn family spectrum. We are back today for a second time. I can honestly say I didn't anticipate being here live on YouTube and Twitter for a second time today to be talking about some breaking Auburn football news. If you listened to the last live stream, you kind of know that sometimes maybe you should wait a few minutes, a few hours before you make statements. So if you want to listen back to that and get a good laugh, there you go. So the breaking news today, and this is my live reaction, is that Gus Malzahn has been fired as the head football coach. All I know is that it has actually happened, that it is taking place at this moment. And the news is breaking. I don't know any details. This is just my live reaction to that. And so maybe some of you all can actually share some information with me as you're looking on Twitter and all that kind of stuff right now. So as you can tell from the numbers that I see popping up here live already, that this is a pretty big moment here in Auburn family news. Samuel Pate says on YouTube, wait, what? Apparently he's just now getting the news as well. This is why we popped on here. So anyway, we're here. We're going to react to it. We're going to discuss it. We're going to try to make some sense of all this, try to maybe understand how this went down, why this went down. I'm working through all this with you together because, this network is about the Auburn family more than just Auburn sports. So, we don't have inside information or anything like that. We're just here to kind of be with you and react as the Auburn family kind of processes it all together. So in one way, you could consider this a therapy session if you would like to, because I know that there is therapy on both sides of this because this has been a very divisive issue. And part of me, honestly, doesn't even think I should be doing this because this is kind of me just shooting off the cuff here with very little information, just knowing the headline right now. That is the case. And who knows? Maybe I reacted too soon. Maybe all the information hasn't come out on the yet, but from somewhat reliable sources, I'm seeing that Gus Malzahn has been fired as the head football coach at Auburn. So as you're watching live, please do make sure you let me know who's here with a hello, War Eagle. Well, I hope you're not doing War Eagle today. I know some of you are out there that are very happy with this news and are War Eagling to that. You're very terrible people if you're doing that. Just going to go say that right out there. That's probably me, probably shooting off the cuff too much there, but if you are War Eagling to this news, you're a terrible person. I said it. You should never celebrate the loss of a head coach. Point you'll never see, Steele has been backstabbing the line of leadership for years. Trash. Okay. So you're saying Kevin Steele has been backstabbing the line to the leadership. Okay. Interesting. Didn't. That's from Twitter. Didn't get that information. I'll just kind of tell you where I stand on the Gus Malzahn topic. We all know that it's Gus Malzahn, since the day that he's been here at Auburn, has been a very divisive figure. There has been a camp that hate him and have hated him since day one and have never wanted him to succeed. There's another camp that was didn't like him, willing to give him at least a shot, but not really. There's another camp that's I like it, but I'm still not sold completely on it. And then there's my camp where I tend to lean towards, and that is I'm a huge Gus Malzahn fan and love the pick. I said the day that we picked Gus Malzahn over Kirby Smart when Gene Chizik was fired was the day that Auburn decided again to never be like Bama. And we made the best decision possible. And I still stand by that statement because what has Kirby Smart done? Yeah, he's gotten them to the SEC championship. So what? Hadn't got him to the national champion. Well, he got him to the national championship. I should say that. Hasn't been able to beat Bama. So I will continue to stand by that statement that we made the best decision possible when we hired Gus Malzahn in 2011. I can't remember what that was. Who's going to replace him? Always liked Gus as a person, but not as always as a coach. Well, do you always like somebody as your coach? You don't always like somebody. Did I like everything that Coach Gus Malzahn did? No. Did I agree with everything that he chose to do, hires that he made? No. But I liked Gus Malzahn as our head coach more than just for his ability to win games and to beat Alabama and recruit well. but there are many reasons there. Yeah, so we got some people laughing on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. Yeah, you're terrible people if you're doing that. I will not hesitate to say that. Let's see. At least with Gus, you knew what you had. That's one way to look at it. So a lot of people, obviously we can talk about some speculation right now if we want to about who's going to be, because your guess is as good as mine. The names that everybody hears: Hugh Freeze, Mario Cristobal. What are the other two that keep circulating out there? I can't. You guys feel free to share them out there. Give me your short list. My short list is one person: Dabo Swinney. That's my short list. Mac2W8D says don't want Freeze. Here's the thing, folks. You might want to get used to that idea that you're going to have someone that you don't like out there, because tell me someone out there that you do like. There's no one else out there that I really want other than Dabo Swinney. And the reason I say that is Dabo has beaten Alabama consistently, has recruited outstandingly. Dabo, from all that I can see on the outside without making humongous speculation otherwise, seems to be like a good Christian man. I don't know that for 100% fact, but I can just look on the outside and make assumptions. Nobody's perfect. So those categories for me, actually, let me go ahead and plug this. We did an episode on our network about maybe 2 months ago now, and I think I've even seen him. Mike Pate, he joined me for the debate, and he was more on the fence of wanting Gus Malzahn to move on, but he was very open-minded about it and very even-keeled about it. So if you're watching right now, so I think I saw you pop in. Thank you for joining me on that. So it was a great conversation. Noah Iverson says dumb decision. Yeah, I tend to agree with that as well. So we got a lot of comments coming in here. I'm trying to keep up with all the Twitter ones because they go away quicker. Do you think Luke Fickell might be a candidate? I haven't heard that name yet, but anyone's up is the best guess, right? Gus gave Auburn some great memories. I do agree with that. Some outstanding memories. He is responsible for the greatest college football play, the greatest sports play of all time, in my opinion. And that wouldn't have happened without him and his decision-making. So you may not agree with his decision-making on many things, but his decision to put a different person back there on a 57-yard kick, that's all you need to know. Let me come back here and look at some of these things here. Oh, my gosh. Let's see. If you had to land the Iowa State coach, if you don't land the Iowa State coach, this is a disaster. He will not come to Auburn because he played at Alabama. Heard the big money donors didn't like the unsportsmanlike chirping going on last night. Iowa State head coach or bust. Interesting that everybody's. I don't know what this fascination is with Iowa State and Auburn. They went and got a president from there for a while, and my gosh, I've even erased him from my name. We went out there, got Gene Chizik. So I don't know what the Iowa State-Auburn connection is going on right now. I don't really like that connection, so I really don't want to see that. Someone from North Dakota State might be interesting. So here's what I'm hearing, folks, is in the reaction after this, we're all naming names of nobody that's proven yet. So why did we make the jump if you're not going to go for someone big? Just saying. We really need to get a good Southern coach. He's got to have Auburn values and beliefs. Name them. Dabo Swinney's it. That's it. If he pulls a Malik Willis and goes amazing somewhere and wins a natty somewhere else, I don't know. I mean, he could. I think Gus Malzahn will be another head coach somewhere else, and he will be highly successful, and this will be egg on the face of Auburn. I really do believe that. This is a very bad look for Auburn in many, many, many facets. Financially, program stability wise, I'm a big fan of stability, sometimes to a fault at the cost of some momentum in a direction. So, I get it. Look, I get everybody's frustrated. I get everybody. And my big question to you is this. If Alabama wasn't doing what they were doing for the last decade, is this an issue today? You can probably say yes right now because you're being watched on your reactions on here, but in your quiet minds, you're probably saying it probably wouldn't be as big a deal. Let's see. There's any good options. Texas should fire Herman and hire Gus. That would be hilarious, and I would love that. stick it into Auburn's face. I'd ask for money back that he gave that he helped fund the football-only facility. I think Gus should. Gus, ponied up cash. Gus did a lot of things for Auburn that this is a very big slap in the face. And, we try very hard here to be supportive of all coaches and administration staff, but I'll say this publicly. Alan Green, you made a bad decision, and this will cost you. I'll say this publicly. You made a poor decision on this front. Bad decision. Alabama wasn't as good. I think I caught the end of that comment. If Alabama wasn't as good, maybe it wasn't going to be such a big deal. I can't remember. Sorry, they come through on Twitter so fast. I'm trying to keep up with everything here because this is a big time. Ken Bowen says, wrong time. I know people are frustrated, but I feel like it's wrong to spend this kind of money right now. PJ Fleck is a big name out there. Sure. Look, there's nobody out there that excites me other than Dabo Swinney. That's it. I mean, somebody asked me for my short list. My short list is as short as you can get other than Gus Malzahn, Dabo Swinney. Pay the man, go get him, and then I'll be happy and I'll shut up. But right now, this is a poor Saban. Look, that would be really hilarious, Mac. Mac said that on Twitter. Oh, goodness. I don't know how I'd process that if somehow if somehow Alan Green went out there and hired Nick Saban away from Alabama. I'd be confused, frustrated, happy, gleeful, and only happy and gleeful because of what it would do to Alabama. I know you're joking, but that's hilarious. It's really funny. At this point, I wish Lane Kiffin could come over from Ole Miss. We've done the whole Ole Miss transfer before. Let's not rehash old history. Look, there's a lot of flashy names. When I say that there's no one out there, there's a lot of flashy names that are unproven. Lane Kiffin is unproven. I'm sorry, he's not. Lane Kiffin, PJ Fleck is unproven. They are. Cristobal, unproven. They have not been able to get their teams further than what Gus Malzahn is able to do. They've not been able to recruit as well as Gus Malzahn has. Now, this year's an exception, obviously. But anyway, Hugh Freeze for real. What about Hugh Freeze for? I didn't really mean to turn this into a speculation about who's coming, but it's kind of turned into that because that's kind of where everybody wants to go on this. My take on the Hugh Freeze situation, let me just be upfront with you guys. I'm a Christian. I believe that we should all be very forgiving and should give people opportunities to make amends for wrongs that they were a part of in the past. And I think everyone deserves that wholeheartedly. Do I think it's the right time for Hugh Freeze and Auburn to come together? Maybe. I don't want him. Personally, it has nothing to do with what he did at Ole Miss that got him to so much trouble. It has everything to do with he is not up to the caliber of Gus Malzahn yet. And this is all based on, I'm making reaction based on what information I have now. Hugh Freeze has been successful at Ole Miss. I mean, that's like being successful at Michigan State. Michigan State has a great year every once in a while, but they're no Michigan. They're not Ohio State. He's had success at Liberty. Playing who? The ACC? That's going to be your justification for successful? No, thank you. So look, and just because I'm saying there's no one exciting out there doesn't mean that we can't find some exciting. No one's given me anybody yet that turns my head. I want a proven track record, building winning programs, keeping them consistent. Sounds like that was Gus Malzahn. He beat Saban twice. He did, so that does mark off one of those things as well. So that's true. Alan Green did not make this call. Yes, I would agree with that statement that Alan Green made the call. I can think of one coach. Please share. Alan Green made the call, but we all know that the big donors are the ones that push this, and they finally won out. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, and we know the big name out there. All right, I've been skipping on a lot of people here on YouTube. I'll keep coming. Brian Kelly. Okay. I mean, sure. Look, I'm reacting to things, and I'm probably going to have my foot in my mouth later. But no. First Auburn coach with a winning record in his last year from Jordan Ford. Dabo would never come to. I know he's not coming to Auburn. So yeah, I agree with you. Dabo's not coming to Auburn. But you asked me for my short list and what would make me happy, and like ease my disappointment with this news today. Dabo Swinney. That's my short list. That's it. Maybe the defensive coordinator from Clemson. Venables, okay, Venables is not like a terrible thing. That doesn't like leave a sour taste in my mouth, but yeah. Oh gosh. I'm so tired of hearing. This is not a reaction at you, whoever wrote that. Just the hype train that is Bill Clark. I'm sorry. He's done a great job with UAB. And maybe he gets hired by Auburn and comes here and does great. And I'm going to support whoever comes here. I'm just... No on Bill. No on Barry Odom. No. There's one name out there, Dabo Swinney, and then whoever said Brent Venables from Tennessee. That one at least didn't make me gag when I heard that one. All right, I'll keep trying to keep up here on Twitter, but I know some of the YouTube folks are here. Like, you need to address these over here. Don't do Ole Miss. Yeah, we don't want to do that again. Agreed. No one has a resume like Gus in this neck of the woods. Only Lane could do the job. Disagree. How about Urban? Oh, God. That one was worse than Bill Clark. Urban won't come. James Franklin. James Franklin, I don't hate that either. I don't know him about him as a person, but that kind of falls in the Brent Venables thing. Also putting names out there, Auburn has a chance to get Minnesota. PJ Fleck, I don't know how long you've been here watching, but Fleck does not excite me in the least. This was dumb. Will Muschamp. You guys are doing a good job of making me feel better with some of these laughs tonight. All right, look. Let's Sarkisian. No, that's a no. Says I want an offensive guy. Screw it. Maybe OC from Kansas City. Phil Lingo. Lots of names being. We'll probably do maybe a stream where we talk more about this. But let's talk about the actual news. I want a quick yes or no from you all right now. Did Auburn make the right decision by firing Gus Malzahn today? Did they make the right? Yes or no? Goes back to Springbell. His buyout coaches high school football. How about Michigan and Auburn trade coaches? Chris Peterson. That was a hot name back in the day. Not anymore. All right, we got some answers coming in. No on Twitter. No, yes by overtime. No, wrong decision. Yes by Alex. Yes, no. Seems to be no. Should not have fired him today. That's why I asked that question. No question about it. Auburn has set back many years, so I'll take that as a no. He's inconsistent. On what basis? That's interesting. Anyway, what planet are you Auburn fans on? Well, the same one you are, but obviously not the same one, I guess. I don't know. That was a weird question. Let's see. Auburn fans fire Gus. Should have fired him a while back. Sure. I mean, you're not giving me much information with that. It's easy to say those things without backing them up. Anyway, so it seems like, what I'm hearing here is, and I've seen from the reaction here, is that there's a big divide here. There was a good portion that wanted him, a good portion that did not. First head coach fired with a winning record in his last year. Yeah, it's true. The grass is always greener on the other side. I agree. So what it sounds like to me, especially from our small little microcosm here that we've looked at, is that probably 60% people feel this was a bad decision. I'll say 55% feel like this was a bad decision. The other 45, if I did my math right, carry that, agree that this is the right decision. The more vocal are the 45% because they're the ones that hide behind their Twitter accounts and their accounts here and want to make snide comments. So my biggest thing is, if you're going to make a post on Twitter or social media about a coach or a player, would you say it to their face? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't do it. Don't act big and bad. You wouldn't do it. But anyway, Here's the real question: does Auburn already have a replacement? It's not. If not, it's a bad decision. That's a fair point. That's a fair point there. Auburn replacing Tennessee. I agree with that statement. Auburn could be the next Tennessee with this decision today. With Gus Malzahn at the helm, once you get out of this weird year, you would have had a year of the recruiting rebounding a little bit, a second year under an offensive coordinator who is trying to install his system, and so now you've set Bo Nix back even further. Just a bad decision. Mike McCarthy will be likely looking for a job soon. You would think they'd already have a replacement. You'd hope. I don't think that was the case, though. Auburn has been in a mediocre, stagnant state for 7 years. Disagree with that, sir. I'm thinking back. I don't call some of the high points that they've had over this at being stagnant. But here's the thing. Look, I know a lot of you that are listening, I'm being a little bit more rough on you guys. These are things that you never say in person to someone, so I think you should always check that when you're making those type of statements. Especially, it's easy to make those statements when you're not making all the decisions. I have zero confidence in administration to hire a replacement comparable to Gus. 2020 can't end soon enough. Yeah, it is the final nail in the coffin for 2020 for Auburn fans right now. You know what I love are Twitter fans that have fire Gus the whole season their thing. I'm like, y'all are the most petty people on the planet. My question: how many players and recruits does Auburn lose? More than they already have. That's going to be a poor reaction to this. It's going to be bad. I think we're gonna. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to get. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Chad says George Wilson don't know where to commit. Poor kid. First South Carolina, then they fire Muss. Now Auburn, and they fire Gus. Oh yeah, this absolutely hurts. Do you think this caught Gus by surprise? Do you think this hurts? This hurts recruiting. Do I think that this caught Gus by surprise? No, but I think I'm just kind of reading between the lines, reacting here. I think what transpired today was Alan Green was forced to make a decision today by the powers that be, the true powers that be, that being the people with the money, to make a move today. And he wanted Gus to step down, and Gus refused to do so and should have. He had the success to back it up. The recruiting as a whole, now obviously this year is not a good one, to back it up. He had the consistency to back it up, and he had a contract. Gus Malzahn should not have stepped down. There was nothing deserving of stepping down. So what I think transpired today is that Alan Green was forced to either get him to step down or fire him. And I think Gus Malzahn called his bluff and forced him to do the thing that is going to probably be the signature of the Alan Green administration, maybe in a bad light. Thanks for having Gus's back and going public saying that he's an offensive genius, improved himself. I won't subscribe to the offensive genius currently, but historically, yes. I want to be fair. I'm a big pro Gus guy, but I'm not going to sit here and say he's the end all be all. I just think he was the best choice for Auburn for the long haul. Apparently, some people don't. Let's see. I don't see. Should have given him more than a year for the O-line to grow a pair finally. The offensive line is the Achilles heel for Gus Malzahn. If that hadn't been such a big problem, if that could have been figured out, this doesn't become a problem. Auburn fans' expectations are too high, in my opinion. Auburn shouldn't be winning the SEC West every other year. I mean, I think you should expect to win, but you can't let that make you make rash decisions. Gus will land somewhere and do well wherever he goes. I agree with that. It should realistically go to Bama and LSU most of the time, and Auburn win once every 5 years. Nah, not okay with that one. He averaged 9 wins a year in the SEC West in a state that was the highest, it has the greatest dynasty in the modern college football era. Yeah, I think Gus Malzahn had the most to work against his favor, and proved that he could be competitive year in and year out. Any big transfers come from this? I mean, it depends on who they hire, right? I mean, if they don't hire someone, or if they don't have someone lined up, then why would you want to transfer to Auburn, Alabama, into the state with the greatest modern dynasty, with the team that's going to suffer next year? Why would you? I wouldn't. But he is told to hire an OC, and he did, and the OC hired a new offensive line coach. But he was, hold on one second there. He beat Nick Saban more than most can say, other than Dabo, I think. Well, actually, I think he and Dabo share the same amount of wins against Nick Saban. I think Gus should have had a better record at Auburn had Auburn been in the East. Yeah, I think obviously that would have happened, but, I don't want things easy, Watch Auburn hire Mike Leach. Good Lord. Oh, that just gives me a headache thinking about it. Transfers leaving. Yeah, I think transfers out. There will be a lot of that going on. You are going to see an Auburn program next year that is going to suffer mightily. You thought watching a talented Auburn basketball team this year have no hopes to play in the postseason was going to be irritating. Just wait till next year for football. Just wait. I feel bad for Nix as well. It's becoming a lot like the Jason Campbell story. If a lot of you remember that, could not keep an offensive coordinator on the team, but it really suffered for him until the last year of his season, which worked out. Chad Morris's future. I mean, if Gus is gone, I don't see why Chad stays. Personally, I don't see that happening, because if you bring in a new guy, he's going to bring in his offensive coordinator, his defensive coordinator. Here's the other thing too, folks. Apparently interim coach is Kevin Steele, rightfully so. He's earned it, and I'm glad that that's taken place. He's not going to be the head coach because he said that he's about ready to be done. But you've kind of forced his hand to retire. So are you happy with that decision as well? If you're happy with the Gus Malzahn decision, you've gotten rid of Kevin Steele. Congratulations. You got what you wanted. Tank says, please, Tank, don't transfer. I agree. Just wait, guys. I mean, there are people that are celebrating publicly. There are people that are celebrating privately more so about this. Just you wait. It's about to get really, really bad. Wiz Dragon, yes, the Jason Campbell story did end well. And I think that would be a great story here, is that Auburn makes a good hire. We suffer 1 year, and then Bo Nix in his final season puts it all together, which he would have done under Chad Morris and Gus Malzahn, I believe, probably sooner. But yeah, it ended well. Hopefully, we can only hope for that for him in the future. Auburn should promote Morris. Get over it. Gus at Auburn has been heavily inconsistent. On what standard, Timothy? On what standard? It'd be interesting to hear your comment on that. This was a huge mistake unless Auburn has someone hired. We said that before. Yeah, so yeah, I agree. If someone's not lined up, this was a bad decision. Go get Bill O'Brien. He's a tough-nosed coach. Okay, so how about this? Look, we bounced around a lot. I want everybody, what is your favorite? And I know you can make your little snide comments. Sure, go ahead. But what's your favorite memory of Coach Gus Malzahn here at Auburn? Let's kind of shift gears a little bit. Your favorite memory, thing that you'll remember about him, thing that you appreciated him the most, because there's something that you cannot deny, is that he did bring us some very good times here at Auburn. It's easy to go to Kick Six, Prayer and Jordan Hare, all those things. For me, it will be what he represented as an Auburn man. Honestly, that's what it is. Max says the Kick Six. It's a good pick right there, my friend. That's a good pick. Kick Six. 2013 was my favorite memory. That was a good year, obviously. Boom! Oh, the booms. So here's the funny thing: is we have for those of you that don't know, we're a podcast network for Auburn family stuff. A lot of heavy on the sports. We have a show that's recruiting that's a bit on a hiatus right now, with just some timing and stuff for the guys that run that, called Boom Tracker. we kind of, it's for all recruiting, but we kind of did it on the whole boom thing that Gus did every time he got a recruit. So that kind of feels a little bit hollow now. I guess we can still utilize it. I don't know. But that's going to be tough to continue to think about Boom Tracker without it. 2010 Gus memory on offense was good. Jarrell Pippen the whole 13-14 year. Those were good. Yeah. Lots of good things there. So listen, I think this is the case here. Gus Malzahn could have been one of the greatest coaches to go down in Auburn history had he been given longer to do so. And I said that from the very beginning, that he had a trajectory like Coach Ralph Shook Jordan. And here's the funny thing, and I want you all to think about this. Shook Jordan, we think of him as our Bear Bryant. Let's just use that analogy because everyone understands what I mean when you say it like that. You think of him as our Bear Bryant. So that means that if he's that level, you would assume that he had all this great success and was just dominant all the time. Actually, no. If you go back and look at Shook Jordan's time at Auburn, very tumultuous. Very tumultuous. Had some strings of success that he put together over a long, long career, and that's what we remember him for. But we remember him more as an Auburn man and not just as the successes because of the time we gave him, what he meant to us as a program. Gus Malzahn could have done that for us, and he would have done that for us had we been able to not let the powers that be with the money get in the way of this decision right here. So if you go back and look at Shook Jordan and the trajectory of Auburn under Gus Malzahn, it was very similar, at least when you kind of look at it proportionally. And I thought that they kind of reflected each other personality-wise, demeanor-wise, morality-wise, success-wise as well. And I think it could have been a great time at Auburn. And unfortunately, that will not be. I got a Saints fan popping in here. Sure, go Saints. I'm not an NFL fan, so there you go. What a dumb move. Didn't even get to see his football-only facility he donated $10 million for. I think Gus should ask for that money back, but I don't think he will because that's the type of guy he is. Auburn is clearly going after the former Bill Brady, whatever his name, Joe Brady. Sure, that's a flashy hire. Not proven, though, as a head coach. 4-star safety commit now unsure of plans after Gus Malzahn. Yep. So, you thought it was bad the last couple of weeks with some of the people that were undecided and stuff and transfers and stuff. Guys, Auburn football is going to get bad over the next year. I saw this. I'm not saying that I saw this coming, Billy, but it does not shocking the state of things. DC Vlogs, it says, what's up? Just subscribed. What's up, man? Thanks for subscribing. Yeah, we try to get on here as much as possible and talk about Auburn news. I think most of the Twitter folks, and that's where a lot of the negative Auburn people are, have kind of signed off now. I think they're kind of like, I didn't get to hear what I wanted to hear, so they're gone now. But a lot of you here on YouTube, which is great. Thanks so much. This could be a Shula type of bad for us. Yeah, at least Shula had one good year, right? I don't think we'll, look, I'm not going to say who comes in is going to be just terrible, but y'all 365 days to this time next year, y'all better get ready for a bumpy ride for Auburn football. It ain't going to be fun. And I'm going to laugh. I'm not at the players, not at the coach that comes in, but I'm just going to laugh at those fans that wanted this. 8 years, 50% win rate, time's up. Don't disagree with that, Billy. Not in the era that we're living in. Well, he was 42nd in recruiting with him here. So the 42nd in recruiting thing, you can't really, in a year like this with everything that's been going on, if you're going to count that against him, then you need to weight his successes higher as well. So that's not a fair point. Great win last night over Mississippi State. Great win for LSU Tigers also. It's always nice having LSU fans here. Y'all are an interesting folk. 21 million. Dang, I guess you're referring to the 21 million that he'll get paid out at the end of this. And I see someone gave an unlike on there. I'm sure that's funny. It's always funny to hide behind the unlikes and stuff like that. Mac, thank you so much. These comments that I'm making, they come from the heart, and I always want to be kind as I can, but I also be real as I can. And we try to do the best that we can here to give you guys information that you want, have some reactions that are fun. But I just don't get it buying into the negativity. To me, why do you want to live your life that way? Makes you a pretty miserable person, especially when you want to hit the unlike button because you didn't like something I said about your comment. It's very petty. Auburn chances have dropped now. I don't know what that's referring to. Half of 21 is due within 30 days. It's a lot. You think Dabo will entertain coming to Auburn? No, but I want him to. Should have happened 2 years ago. Sure. Okay. Gus is not run. He says Gus has run the same offense every year. So here's the statement I'll make to that. No matter what Gus did in terms of the offense, most people wouldn't give him credit for it. When it was successful, it was the other guy doing it. When it was terrible, it was his fault. I mean, you're the head coach. The offense always is your responsibility. You're the head coach. But he would never get the credit, and he would never get the blame passed off to someone else. So that comment is null and void. Smoke Monday for Heisman. I love Smoke Monday. So, funny story. I did a fantasy football league where we had to do Auburn themes with plays off of Auburn names. A couple years back when we got Smoke Monday, my name was Smoke Tuesday. I know that's lame, but it was pretty funny. I'd love to get Dabo as well. It's not going to happen, though. Jimmy Rain bought it out. Won't cost Auburn any money. Yeah, it will. Sure. Okay, so let's go with that. It won't cost an Auburn, but what else will it cost? Stability. A falling behind Alabama even further. You guys thought y'all were unhappy watching Alabama be highly successful right now, and Auburn's, in your eyes, falling behind? You ain't seen nothing yet. It's about to get real, real bad. Real, real bad. Mario Cristobal, not a fan of that hire. Don't want to be an Alabama acolyte. Don't want that. Tired of that. Hugh Freeze is a contender, yes. I think we're getting some new people in here with some, wanting to offer their opinion, which is great. But we've kind of been through a few of these. Fire will burn. Okay, that was interesting. I didn't catch all of that. Kind of went away. Cam Newton for coach. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Be interesting. I'd probably smile about that one. Hugh Freeze is a good coach. Hugh Freeze is a good coach. Is he a great coach? Don't know. Not proven yet. What do you think about Derek Mason? What do you think about Derek Mason? What did he do at Vanderbilt to show you that he could be successful? At least James Franklin actually made Vanderbilt contenders for something. That is the first time I've heard Derek Mason mentioned as a potential option, and that's interesting. That's all I'll say about that. They better hire Steele as head coach to keep the defense coaches. Kevin Steele's gone on record saying that he wanted to end his career at Auburn, meaning that he was almost done. I will be more shocked if Kevin Steele is named the head coach. I'd probably, that honestly, the best case scenario is that Kevin Steele becomes the head coach. But I would put more weight in Dabo Swinney becoming the head coach than I would Kevin Steele accepting the full head coach thing. And I could be proven wrong. I'll be very happy to be proven wrong on that. But he's about done coaching. Gene Chizik is available. We're still paying him. Yeah, we could do that. I think that was a little quick too, but there were other things going on there. Do you realize Pat Dye coached under Bear? Yes, I do. I do. And, I know when I make that statement, I just don't want to be a Nick Saban acolyte like everybody else. I want to be different. I want to be something better than they are, different than they are. Yeah, I realize that. I've been an Auburn fan a very long time. But it's not something I want to do. Brett Bielema, that's funny. There's another Bill Clark, Bo Jackson. I like the Bo Jackson and Cam Newton things other than Bill Clark. Bob Stoops, that's another big name. I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, Mike Stoops, meh. It's another meh for me. Anyway, all right. Look, we got 231 live people viewing here on YouTube. I really appreciate you all being here and being on that option there. Like I said, most of the Twitter folks I think have gone because they're pretty negative. They don't like hearing stuff like this. I wouldn't trade. I missed that last comment there. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys. We're going to do this more often. Obviously, with this news breaking, we're going to have a lot more to talk about over the coming days. So we'll be doing live streams. I don't do them at a normal time on Twitter and YouTube. Usually in the mornings when I don't have to work. So if you want to, make sure you're subscribed or following us on Twitter so you can know when we go live. We'll be talking all about this stuff. So please do make sure you're subscribed if you want to continue to follow when we do go live and talk about those things. By the way, our podcast for football will be coming out tomorrow, which it was done by AJ Richardson and Jared Davis. They will have a lot to discuss tonight, and I'm sure that we'll probably do a special episode discussing Gus Malzahn being fired and the future as a network as a whole. But don't miss that stuff. If you're not subscribed to that on Apple Podcast, anything, please don't miss that opportunity. A lot of great content there other than just football, but you don't want to miss that. Willie Taggart, okay. Except Nick Saban. Okay, I'm just kind of trying to catch up here on some of these things. Do not get Muschamp. I think everybody's talking with each other now on here. Kevin Steele will not be the head coach at Auburn. It will be Mario Cristobal. Honestly, so here, how about this? People ask me, who's my short list? Dabo Swinney. That's it. That's my short list. That's it. It's not going to happen, but that's my short list. Who I think personally, from what I hear, are the likely contenders is Hugh Freeze and Mario Cristobal. I would rather have Hugh Freeze than Mario Cristobal, but I think that's the route that's going to happen, is because the powers that be with the money, you mentioned some of them already, they are so focused on trying to be like Bama that they're going to do anything in their power to do it, and we'll lose who we are and what makes us different in the process. Maybe I need to coach. I'd love to, but I'm not a good coach. That's why I'm a commentator on things. I'm not a good coach. PJ Fleck, Venables, Hugh, and Cristobal are my top four. Cristobal should not be in your top four. Should not be. The other ones, that's fine. Hugh Freeze, everybody gets in trouble to some extent, Mac. But yes, that's, so here's the thing. If Hugh Freeze, if we're going to have him, you're going to have to get past that at some point. You're going to have to get past the idea that what he did in the past, because here's the same thing. Why do you give the pass to Lane Kiffin for some of the things that he's done over Hugh Freeze? Both made mistakes. For some reason, we give one pass over the other. What's bad about being like Alabama? You just name it. Because we're Auburn, we're different. Winning is not everything. I know that's a hard concept for many people to grasp. It took me a long time to get there, and what makes me more satisfied as an Auburn fan is not winning, but how we win. And Gus Malzahn, I think, did that better than anybody in this day and age. He was a good man, did not deserve this, and a great coach, and did not deserve this. Leopard doesn't change its spots. It's a good point. All right. I think we've kind of hit our limit on this, but like I said, we'll be doing some more live streams about this as news breaks, rumors come out, all this stuff. I hope that for those of you that are unhappy like me with this decision, we'll find some way to make peace with this going forward. For those of you that are celebrating this, you're terrible people. I'll say it again. If you can be happy that Auburn is getting a making a change or something like that, but if you're celebrating that Gus Malzahn was fired, you're a terrible person, and I'll say that 10 times over. So I will miss Gus Malzahn, and I really enjoyed having him as our head coach, and hopefully we will make a decision that will continue to make us be the Auburn that we know and love going forward in the future. And I think that's all I have for this moment. So until I talk to you guys again, War Eagle. All right, YouTube folks, I know a bunch of you probably dipping out after that. I usually stay on here just a minute or two longer for YouTube just because I have to cut off one faster than the other. So I can hang around for just a minute here just to talk with you guys if you want. I'm not celebrating Gus getting fired. I was shocked. I gave him a benefit of the doubt this year because of COVID. And I think that's a healthy way. You could be unhappy with Gus as our coach, but I think you should have given him the benefit of the doubt this year. And I don't think I think it's a poor financial decision. I think it's a poor stability decision. I think it's a poor decision overall. Just bad decision all the way around. Bob Stoops or Urban Meyer? Neither. Neither. Don't want them. Don't need them. If they come to Auburn as their head coach, I'll find a way to make peace with it and support them as I would with any coach. Don't want them. Don't need them. Fired with millions and a Waffle House as bonus. Gus is not sorry. I guess that's what you were saying there. Sure, yeah. It really is a poor financial decision. I agree with that. This will set back Auburn athletics and football in many ways. Recruiting, stability, financially, just support. So what you've now done is you've already had a fractured Auburn fan base, but you've now disenfranchised what I would say is 55% of the Auburn fan base. And that's going to take a long, long time, especially with what's about to happen with the football program and how poor they're going to be for the next year at least. And I'll go on record saying that. I think they will have a losing record next year, so get ready for that. A losing record, especially going to Penn State. Did y'all forget that we're going to Penn State next year? That's going to be very, 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 very bad, even with the state that Penn State's in right now. This whole take Bo Nix with Gus, that's a poor take. That's a very poor take on that. Bo Nix is the reason that we won some games this year, especially with his athleticism. That's a poor take. Gus was dancing last night, which was pretty funny when you think about it in retrospect. Yeah, I do agree. That's kind of, now we know that we know what we know. It's very interesting to kind of see the timeline of things. What did he know when he knew it? It kind of hurts. Do you think this will hurt Bo Nix? Absolutely, I think it will hurt Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is having a very Jason Campbell-like story, highly touted, had some early success, had some struggles, and if you remember in the Jason Campbell story, they could not keep a consistent offensive coordinator, and they finally found one that utilized him or helped him develop the way he needed to, and it worked out in his senior year. And so I think that if Bo Nix chooses to stay, which I think he will, being an Auburn legacy, could have very much that story, which would be great. But what could have been? I think Bo Nix's junior season next year could have been incredible. Could have been. It won't be now. You can take that to the bank. Get Tim Cook to fork over Apple dollars. I think Tim Cook forks over a lot of Apple dollars to Auburn, just kind of looking outside looking in. But yeah. Hires Franklin. It's not the worst thing in the world. Bring Bobby Petrino. Oh, my goodness. That was fun times when we were always looking to Bobby Petrino and thinking he was the best thing out there. How times have changed. Bill Clark or Billy Napier? No to Bill Clark, no to Billy Napier. Derek Dooley would be a good candidate. Sylvester Croom. I'd get excited because, so look, guys, I'm not saying this as trying to put myself up as holier than thou or anything like that, but I've honestly reached this point in my life where winning is not everything. It's how you win. And who our coach is as a man makes me more satisfied with my program. And I think Sylvester Croom, from what I know about him, I don't know everything about him, would be a great option there that way. Success as a football coach, though, probably not. So that's why, on paper, I like the hire. On functionality, I don't. That's why Dabo Swinney is the end and the beginning of my short list. Looks like a good guy. Sounds like a good guy. That looks like a duck. It quacks like a duck. All that thing, and then he can win. So, Hugh Freeze would be great. Do I think Hugh Freeze would have some early success? Yeah, but it would be another Gus Malzahn type. And then in 5 years, everybody would start clamoring when it's not maintaining the level they want, meaning Nick Saban levels. We'll be back in the same scenario. It's the endless cycle of Auburn football not being able to maintain stability because we are always looking across the state and always trying to compete with that. Yeah, I don't think we were being serious about the Sylvester Croom thing, but anyway. Yeah, there's a lot of people that think Mario Cristobal has already been pretty much guaranteed to be it and will be announced tomorrow, and I will not like that hire. I will support him, and I will find a way to make peace with that, but I will not like that hire. I'd be happy with Bill Clark. Bill Clark is a program builder for UAB at that level, but for Auburn, we'll see. We'll see. Brent Venables is so of all the ones that have been mentioned here, Brent Venables is the only other one alongside, James Franklin that kind of made me go, at least, like, instead of just outright dismissing it, I'm kind of like, okay, maybe. Nick Saban has maybe 2 or 3 more years left in the tank. Exactly. And I know they would probably have hired Dabo Swinney, but you're still going to have a little bit of transition time there and what could have happened for Auburn to kind of match success during that time if they had maintained Gus Malzahn. Could have got real interesting in the state of Alabama. As a Bama fan, I'm so glad we don't have to face that offense anymore. It was a problem for us during tenure. And right there, can I add this to the... I can. Look at that. This right here, folks, look at this thing I'm wiggling around in your face right now. This right here is the reason this was a poor decision, because even Alabama fans know Gus Malzahn was their Achilles heel. For those of you that want to be like Alabama, you're going to get it. You will be like Alabama, and you will never be successful. Right now, until Nick Saban leaves and things start changing, you will not be successful at a high level against Alabama if you try to play just like them. Just look at Georgia. As a Razor, we got a lot of like former fans coming in here from other schools. As a Razorback fan, this is awesome. Gus has been sticking it to Arkansas for years. So yeah, I'm sure y'all are happy about that. Let's see. I just gag at the Sarkisian thing. Anyway. All right, I think we've kind of reached it. Wow, 260 live viewers. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it so much, y'all being here and hanging out with me. If you enjoyed the video, obviously give it a little thumbs up. That's really helps. And make sure you're subscribed as well. Not only subscribe, but that notification bell marked, because then you'll know when we go live, since we don't do it on a scheduled basis. And there'll be a lot of news coming out in the next coming days to discuss, so you don't want to miss it. And if you haven't subscribed on Apple Podcasts to E2C Network, there you can find all our podcasts, and you can check some of those out there. Football, basketball. We do a series called Auburn Roots, where we let people tell their Auburn stories. Great series there if you want to feel good about something in this time right now as an Auburn family member. Thank y'all so much for being here. We'll be in touch with you again soon. War Eagle. It's a terrible day for Auburn football.